Hi there, I'm Karith Foster. I am a humorist, an author, a speaker, and I believe that the best message that I can deliver to anyone, man, woman, child, of every ethnicity and every socioeconomic status, is one of understanding your value and your worth. It's actually why I wrote the book, You Can Be Perfect or You Can Be Happy, because there is no such thing as perfection, but we can choose happiness. And part of getting to that place of happy is understanding that the fact that you exist, the fact that you are on this planet, means that you have purpose and that there is intention behind your being here. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in the idea that other people want to place on us, on the stereotypes, on the labels, on being in this category that's considered weak or inferior, and that's bogus. Obviously, I think that's ridiculous, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect people, and we have to rise above that. We have to be told messages that resonate on a deep level that we can internalize and then move forward in our lives to be the best people that we can be, to seek our highest potential. Because, we may hear it and it may be like, yeah, I know, somebody said that before. But the reality is, it's like a muscle you have to exercise. And with that being said, I want to teach people how to care, right? And caring is, about kindness. It's not about being just kind to other people, but to yourself. I have this wonderful story that I share in my book about just a simple act of kindness. And I was in New York City at the time. I found a young woman's cell phone. She left it on the bus and she'd gotten off, and it was too late to get it to her. The bus had taken off, and I contemplated giving it to the bus driver. But I'm like, you know what? It may just get lost in the lost and found, and this girl's never going to get her phone back. So realizing I didn't know what her name was, and this was a little before caller ID was a big thing. A lot of people still had their house phones. So I'm scrolling through her phone alphabetically, and I come along to D, and it says dad. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll call her dad and be like, sir, I found your daughter's cell phone, which I did. And he goes, which daughter? He was kind of gruff. It was so weird. He goes, which daughter? I said, well, the one who lives in Manhattan, because that's where I was at the time. And I said, he goes, well, I got 4 daughters and 2 live in Manhattan. I'm like, well, good for them. They're killing it. And he says, well, I go, the one who lives on the east side, because that's where I was at the time. He said, she's got short brown hair, shoulder length. He goes, oh, Emily. So I said, yeah. I said, can you call her and let her know that I have her phone? Like, find a way to reach her and let her know I have her phone. He goes, well, why can't you call her? I said, well, because I have her phone, and that's the problem. So I talk him into taking my number, and she calls me at work the next day. So it works. So we meet downstairs. I give her phone. She was so sweet. She gave me a gift card to a department store. And I thought that was the end of the story, right? I had done my good deed for the day. I was kind. That's it. Well, about 3 months later, I see a friend of mine who owned a comedy club in New York City. And she said, Karith, you're never going to believe this. I was sitting on a plane next to the girl whose phone you found. So they must have talked, and like through the connections, oh, I just met a comedian. She found my phone. I own a comedy club. Oh, cool. Turns out, y'all, this girl and her father had been estranged for years. They hadn't seen each other in years, hadn't spoken in years, until he called to tell her that I had found her phone. And the reason she was on that plane was because she was going to see him. That was just from one simple act of kindness. And kindness isn't just about what we do for other people. It's what we do for ourselves, how we treat ourselves, what we say to ourselves when we wake up in the morning and look in the mirror. And that dictates not just our day, but our outlook. And then, of course, how other people treat us as well. So it's really important that, we don't let the outside world dictate how we feel or value ourselves, but that we start with kindness, if nothing else. And the beautiful thing is, once you start being kind to yourself, then others start being kind to you. It's like you're teaching people how to treat you. And, we should all be celebrated. And that's what I would love to share with you all and your audiences. So thank you for hearing me, and I hope to see you very, very soon.